I was at the gas station this morning, 6:47 a.m. I'm half asleep. I haven't had coffee yet. I'm just trying to fill my tank so I can get to work and continue my slow march toward financial ruin. And I'm watching the numbers on the pump. They're spinning. They're spinning fast, like a slot machine. Except instead of winning money, I'm losing it. $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70. And I'm standing there, squeezing that trigger, watching my bank account evaporate in real time. And I'm thinking about something I heard at Thanksgiving. My uncle, MAGA hat, Let's Go Brandon bumper sticker. The whole 9 yards. He said, "We're energy independent now. We don't need foreign oil. America first." And I looked at him and I said, "Cool. Then why did I just pay $80 to fill up my 2015 Honda Civic?" He didn't have an answer. He just said something about Biden and changed the subject. But I want an answer. I need an answer. Because every politician keeps telling me we're energy independent. We're drilling more oil than Saudi Arabia. We're producing more natural gas than anyone in history. We're an energy superpower. So why is my gas bill still destroying me? Why am I still at the mercy of gas prices that jump 50 cents overnight? Because some OPEC meeting went badly, or Russia sneezed, or a butterfly flapped its wings in Venezuela? Someone explain to me how we're independent when my wallet is very dependent on prices I can't control. Act 1, the Energy Independence Fantasy, 1:15 to 5:30. The sales pitch, the dream. Let's start with what energy independence is supposed to mean. The promise, the fantasy, the beautiful lie they sell us. Here's the pitch. America has massive oil and gas reserves. We're sitting on oceans of oil, mountains of natural gas. We just need to drill it, extract it. Use our resources instead of importing from countries that hate us. Drill, baby, drill. Open up federal lands. Approve more pipelines. Cut regulations. Let American companies pump out American oil and American gas for American consumers. And it sounds amazing. It sounds patriotic. It sounds like we're taking control of our destiny instead of being dependent on Middle Eastern oil or Russian gas or Venezuelan crude. The promise is simple. More drilling equals lower prices. More domestic production equals cheaper gas. Energy independence equals you saving money at the pump. Except that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. And I'm going to explain why using small words and big frustration. The reality check, the numbers. Here are some facts, real facts. Numbers you can verify. America is the largest oil producer in the world. Not second, not third, first. We produce more oil than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia. We're pumping out about 13 million barrels per day. We're also the largest producer of natural gas. We're drowning in natural gas. We have so much natural gas, we're exporting it. We built fancy terminals to ship it to Europe. We're a natural gas exporter. So by the logic of drill, baby, drill, gas should be cheap, right? We're producing tons of it. Supply is high. Economics 101 says high supply equals low prices. But here's what I paid this morning. $4.79 per gallon. $4.79. That's not cheap. That's not affordable. That's, do I eat lunch this week or do I drive to work? Money. So what's happening? If we're producing all this oil, where's it going? Why aren't we getting the benefit? The global market problem, the trap. Here's the part they don't tell you in the campaign speeches. Here's the part that ruins the whole energy independence fantasy. Oil is a global commodity. It's traded on global markets. And American oil companies don't sell just to Americans. They sell to whoever pays the most. Let me say that again because it's important. American oil companies sell to the highest bidder. Not to Americans first. Not at a discount, to support the homeland. To whoever has the most money. If China wants to pay $85 a barrel and Americans are only willing to pay $80 a barrel, guess where that oil goes? To China. Because oil companies are businesses. They exist to make profit, not to give Americans cheap gas out of the goodness of their hearts. So we can drill all the oil we want. We can be the #1 producer. We can have energy independence on paper. But if global prices are high, our prices are still high. Because it's all the same market. It's like if you grew apples in your backyard but sold them at the farmer's market for whatever price apples are going for globally. Just because you grew them doesn't mean you get them cheaper than your neighbor who has to buy them. Act 2. Bill's gas station breakdown, 5:30 to 11. The pump psychology, the pain. I need to explain what it feels like to fill up your tank in 2026. Because it's not just about money, it's psychological torture. You pull up to the pump. You look at the price per gallon. You do quick math in your head. Okay, 15 gallons times $4.79. That's, oh God, that's over $70. You consider only doing a half tank, but you need a full tank to get through the week. So you commit. You insert your card. You select regular, even though your car recommends premium, because you're not rich. And then you start pumping. And you watch. You watch those numbers climb. You watch your checking account balance drop in your mind. You calculate, okay, that's groceries, that's the electric bill, that's the money I was saving for literally anything else. And you're angry. You're angry at the gas station, even though they're not the ones setting the price. You're angry at the oil companies. You're angry at OPEC. You're angry at the government. You're angry at yourself for having a car that needs gas instead of, I don't know, wishes and dreams. The pump clicks off. $73.42. You stare at the receipt. You feel a piece of your soul leave your body. You get in your car and you drive to work, where you'll earn that $73 back in checks notes, about 4 hours of labor. 4 hours of work just to fill a tank of gas. The math that doesn't math, the betrayal. Let me break down my gas expenses because I did the math, and now I'm depressed. I drive about 250 miles a week, work commute, errands, occasional social life, before I realized I can't afford one. My car gets about 30 miles per gallon on a good day, when I'm driving like a grandma. That's about 8 gallons per week. At $4.79 per gallon, that's $38 per week. Times 4 weeks, that's $152 per month, just for gas. Not maintenance, not insurance, not the car payment I'm still making on a car that's 9 years old. Just gas, $152. That's 2 weeks of groceries. My internet bill plus my phone bill. 3 therapy sessions, which I clearly need. 10% of my rent. The amount I was trying to save each month for emergencies, which are now inevitable because I can't save. And I'm supposed to believe we're energy independent? I'm supposed to feel grateful that America is drilling more oil? Where is my independence? My wallet is more dependent on gas prices than it's ever been. The global shenanigans why prices jump. And here's what really makes me angry. Here's what keeps me up at night. Seething. Gas prices don't just slowly creep up. They jump. Overnight. For reasons that have nothing to do with me or America or our independence. Russia invades Ukraine, gas prices jump 50 cents in a week. Why? Because global markets panic. Because Europe needs more gas. Because supply chains get disrupted. And even though I live in Ohio and Russia is on the other side of the planet, I'm paying more. Because of geopolitics I have no control over. OPEC has a meeting and decides to cut production. Gas prices jump. Saudi Arabia and Russia make a deal. Gas prices jump. A rumor that Iran might do something, gas prices jump. Meanwhile, American oil companies are still producing the same amount. We're still drilling. We're still energy independent on paper. But none of that matters because oil is priced globally. It's like living in a house you own, but the price of living there is determined by what houses cost in Tokyo. You can't just say, but I own this house. The market doesn't care. The profit party. Who's really winning? You know who loves this system? You know who's making bank off energy independence? Oil companies. ExxonMobil made $56 billion in profit in 2022. $56 billion. Chevron made $36 billion. Shell made $40 billion. They're making record profits, while I'm deciding between filling my tank and eating protein this week. And here's the kicker. When gas prices are high, they make more profit per gallon. When prices are low, they still make profit, just less. They win either way. But Bill, shouldn't competition bring prices down? Should, but there's not real competition. There are like 5 major oil companies that control most of the market. They don't compete on price. They all charge basically the same thing. And they all make billions. And when politicians talk about energy independence, they're not talking about making gas cheaper for you. They're talking about making oil companies more profitable. They're talking about removing regulations so companies can drill more and export more and make more money. Your gas bill is just collateral damage. Act 3. The Inconvenient Truths, 11 to 15:30. Why drill, baby. Drill doesn't help you. The economics. Let me explain why drilling more oil doesn't actually make your gas cheaper. Because this is the part that politicians either don't understand or don't want you to understand. Truth 1. Oil companies maximize profit, not production, for low prices. If drilling more oil meant lower prices, oil companies would make less money per barrel. Why would they do that? They're businesses. They want maximum profit, so they produce enough to keep prices high while still selling volume. It's a balance, and that balance does not include make gas cheap for Bill. Truth 2. Global demand sets the price, not just American supply. Even if America doubles production, if China and India are growing and demanding more oil, global prices stay high. Our extra supply gets absorbed by global demand. We don't get an American discount just because we drilled it. Truth 3. Oil companies export American oil. We produce 13 million barrels a day. We also consume about 20 million barrels a day, but we still export millions of barrels. Why? Because they can sell it for more overseas, so we import different oil and export our oil. It's insane, but it's more profitable. Truth 4. Refining capacity is the real bottleneck. We can drill all the oil we want, but if we don't have enough refineries to turn crude oil into gasoline, it doesn't matter. And refineries are expensive to build. Nobody's building new ones, so even with more oil, we're limited by refining capacity. The environmental cost, the trade-off nobody mentions. And let's talk about what drill baby drill actually costs. Because it's not free. It's not just more oil, yay. Every new drilling site means more carbon emissions. Hello, climate change? More habitat destruction, goodbye, wildlife. More potential spills. Remember the Gulf of Mexico? More pollution in communities near drilling sites, which are usually poor communities. So we're trading environmental destruction and long-term climate catastrophe for gas that's still expensive. Because of global markets, great trade, really smart. Well done, humanity. And before you say, but Bill, we need oil. We can't just stop. I know. I'm not saying stop tomorrow. I'm saying maybe we should be honest about the trade-offs instead of pretending energy independence is this magical solution. That makes everything better. What would actually lower gas prices the real solutions? If politicians actually wanted to lower gas prices for regular Americans, here's what they'd do. Strategic Petroleum Reserve releases, the government has emergency oil reserves. Releasing some of that does temporarily lower prices because it increases supply, but it's controversial because what if we need it for a real emergency? Gas tax holidays. Suspending state or federal gas taxes would directly reduce the price you pay. But politicians don't like it because that's tax revenue they lose. Price controls, the government could literally cap gas prices, but that causes shortages and other problems. See, the 1970s gas lines, windfall profit taxes. Tax the hell out of oil companies when they make excessive profits, and rebate that money to consumers. But oil companies have excellent lobbyists, so this never happens. Invest in alternatives, build public transit, incentivize EVs, make it so people don't need to drive everywhere. But that's long-term and politicians want short-term wins. The real solution is reducing demand. If Americans drove less, used more public transit, had more EVs, demand for gas would drop and prices would follow. But we've built our entire society around cars. Our cities are sprawl, our public transit is a joke. We're trapped in car dependency, and oil companies love it. Act 4. The Bill Survival Guide, because we're stuck with this, 1530 to 1900. Step 1. Stop believing the energy independence. Lie first, we need to accept reality. Energy independence doesn't mean cheap gas. It means American companies produce a lot of oil, that they sell on global markets at global prices. Stop expecting politicians to fix gas prices by drilling more. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen because that's not how economics works. Step 2. Reduce your gas consumption. The practical stuff. Since we can't control prices, we control consumption. Drive less. Combine errands. Work from home if possible. Carpool, walk or bike for short trips. Drive smarter, accelerate gently, maintain steady speeds, don't idle, keep tires properly inflated. All this improves fuel efficiency. Choose efficient vehicles. If you're buying a car, get something with good MPG. Or an EV if you can afford one. I can't. But if you can, do it. Use gas apps. Gas Buddy and similar apps show you the cheapest gas nearby. Sometimes you can save 10 cents per gallon by driving 2 extra minutes. Plan trips. Don't make unnecessary trips. Batch your errands. Think about routes. Every mile you don't drive is money saved. Step 3. Budget for volatility. Expect the worst. Gas prices jump. They're volatile, so budget for the high end. If gas is $4 now, budget for $5. If it goes to 5, you're prepared. If it stays at 4, you have extra money. Win-win. Don't budget based on current prices. Budget based on what if it gets worse, because it will get worse. It always does. Step 4, consider alternatives, if possible. I know not everyone can do this. I know, but if you can, public transit. If your city has it and it's practical, use it. Monthly pass is cheaper than gas. Electric vehicles. If you can afford one, the fuel cost is way lower. Electricity is cheaper than gas per mile. Bike/scooter. For short trips, this is free, bike, or cheap, electric scooter. Remote work. Negotiate working from home a few days a week. Each day you don't commute saves gas. Step 5. Vote for realistic policies, not slogans. Stop voting for politicians who promise easy answers to complex problems. We'll drill more and gas will be cheap is a lie. Don't believe it. Vote for people who understand how global markets work. Support public transit investment. Incentivize fuel-efficient vehicles. Are honest about trade-offs. Don't just repeat "drill, baby, drill" like it's a magic spell. And push for policies that actually help. Gas tax rebates during price spikes. Investment in alternatives. Regulation of price gouging. Transparency in oil company profits. Closing. The bill reality check, $1,900 to $2,100. I filled up my tank this morning, $73.42. And as I drove to work, I passed 3 billboards. First billboard, America Energy Independent, with a picture of an oil derrick and an American flag. Second billboard, Drill Baby Drill, Support American Energy, with a website for some oil lobby group. Third billboard, Gas prices too high, blame Biden, with an arrow pointing at a gas station. And I'm driving past these billboards, my tank full of $73 of gasoline. And I'm thinking, we're being lied to. We're being manipulated. We're being gaslit, pun intended, into believing that simple slogans will solve complex problems. Energy independence is real in the sense that we produce a lot of oil, but it's meaningless in terms of what you pay at the pump. Because oil is global, markets are global, and American oil goes to the highest bidder, which might not be Americans. We can drill all the oil in America. We can turn the entire country into one giant oil field, and gas will still cost whatever global markets say it costs. That's not independence. That's illusion. Real energy independence would mean prices disconnected from global markets. Not possible with oil. Alternatives to oil so we're not dependent on it. Public transit so we don't need to drive everywhere. Policies that prioritize Americans over oil company profits. But that's hard. That takes investment. That takes decades. That requires admitting there's no easy solution, so instead we get slogans. Drill, baby, drill. Energy independence. America first. And we get $73 fill-ups. I checked my bank account after I got to work. After that gas purchase, I'm down to $200 until next Friday. $200 for groceries, utilities, any emergency that comes up, and probably another tank of gas, because I'll run out by Thursday. But hey, at least we're energy independent. This is Mr. Bill, reminding you that America produces more oil than anyone, but your gas bill doesn't care. We're independent in name only. Your wallet is very dependent on prices you can't control. Stay broke, stay frustrated, stay drilling for answers that make sense. And the next time someone tells you, we just need to drill more, ask them to explain why we're already the biggest producer. And gas still costs half your paycheck. Spoiler alert, they can't.